Okay. We should be going live. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Here we go. Get the ads out of the way. Okay. Hopefully you can all hear me. If you're in the chat, let me know. So we get ready to kick this off. Let's get the old transition. Oh, we don't want that. Oh, we want this. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all okay. Welcome. Breaking news, if you've not heard already. It looks like Google have effectively released Stadia Base. They're not calling it Stadia Base, but effectively it is Stadia Base, really, I think, because what they're offering here, you'll see Phil Harrison, Vice President and GM of Google Stadia, stated here on the blog, you'll see, we're facing some of the most challenging times in recent memory. Keeping social distance is vital, but staying home for long periods can be difficult and feel isolating. Video games can be a valuable way to socialize with friends and family when you're stuck at home. So we're giving gamers in 14 countries free access to Stadia Pro for 2 months. This is starting today and rolling out over the next 48 hours. Hello, Resurrector. Wagon Primo, hello. I see Joe Sook at the beginning there saying clickbait. Well, it's not really clickbait, is it, this title? Because it's happening. It's happening. I hope you're all right. Okay, so as a lot of people straight onto Twitter have been saying, oh, I went there and I logged on and I can't get it yet. What's happening? I think that, as I've highlighted here, this is starting today and rolling out over the next 48 hours. I think if you're in the US and Canada, it's effectively rolling out now, and then I think in Europe, over the next 24 hours or so, I anticipate people start getting it. So at the moment, it might be asking you for a buddy code, but you don't need one. Basically, what will happen is when it is available over the next 48 hours, you just sign up with your Gmail account. Boom, you're straight in. And if you're new to Stadia, it's very straightforward. All you don't even need a controller. Keyboard and mouse will work. Chrome browser, just go to stadia.com, sign in, boom. Basically what you need to do, you go to stadia.com to sign up. You download the Stadia app, either on your Android or iOS. So you need the app on your phone to sort of make it work. And then you play on your laptop, desktop, or your Chrome tablet, whatever. It supports controllers, so whether you've got a Xbox controller lying around or just a non-specific controller like this is my Mogger controller. Works on PC, Xbox and loads of other things, but also works on Stadia. Got one of those. You can play on your Pixel phone and then loads of the more recent Samsung phones and some other phones as well. There's a whole list on the log there, on the blog. And you're good to go. And if you've never played it before, I know most of the people here, right, Want to Escape. Lovely to see you here. Most have played. That's really, will know how good it is. But this is a great opportunity for people to try it and just to forget about all the tech. First of all, actually, quick, I don't know, apology. You might hear some music in the background. Stadia is being used right now by my daughter, who is doing Just Dance 2020. Even though I'm trying to do a live blog, unfortunately, I wasn't prepared for the argument. So I hope you can hear me okay. Let me know if the background noise is too much or anything, but Anyway, Just Dance on the background. Anyway, so as I was saying, effectively, forget all the sort of the tech and all that kind of thing about it. What people will discover is that basically this is as simple as watching a video on YouTube. It's that simple. You're basically going on your browser, stadia.com, pick a game, and with the Stadia Pro, of course, it comes with certain pro games, and at the moment there are 9 pro games. Here we go. So if you sign up today, you can play straight away. And when I say straight away, I mean literally straight away, because you just click and play. If you buy a game, you play it straight away. There's no downloads, waiting time, any of that. It's instant play. Literally, from buying a game to playing it takes about 10 seconds. And that's not an exaggeration. I think somebody timed it about 7 seconds or something like that. But here, so you've got Destiny 2, the collection. That's the complete collection. So all the DLC. Grid, which is a great racing game. And unique to Stadia is there is a 40-player race within Grid, which is exclusive to Stadia because Stadia has the power to do it. So you can race with 40 other people. It's pretty epic. Guilt, which is a sort of a Stadia exclusive. It's a great sort of platform puzzle game and quite, beautifully done. Serious Sam collection, that was out a few years ago, and this is the sort of the reversion of it. And it's just a popcorn in your face first person shooter, a bit like Doom, but less sophisticated, I'd say, than that. Spitlings is a ridiculously addictive game that you should play with your friends, so get your friends to sign up to Stadia. Yeah, that's right, David Handley. It's a shame that there aren't the sales. I'll come to the sales in a minute, but I'm sure if people have got 2 months pro, there's like the people who are already on there will be other sales over the next 2 months, so you never know. Anyway, Spitling's crazy game that is well worth playing with your mates. Very addictive and annoying. Stacks on stacks. It's sort of like a sort of 3D Tetris game. SteamWorld Dig was really popular on the Switch, I believe, and same with the SteamWorld games. So, oh, there we are. We lost it there. Thumper's like a crazy psychedelic. I have BT broadband. My download speed's around about, it's meant to be 70 megabits per second, but it isn't. It averages out about 50 megabits per second. And Stadia works awesome. I get 4K on the Chromecast, and it looks amazing. There's no lag or latency, and it works amazingly. You've also, but it's not just about the broadband, of course. All right, Victor. It's not just about the broadband. It's also about your Wi-Fi in the house. So make sure that you've got, well, especially if you're using. I would hardwire, if you can hardwire your computer, I would hardwire your computer. Otherwise, make sure your Wi-Fi is pretty solid. That's what I'd say. I play on the Chromecast Ultra. If you've got a Chromecast Ultra, then you need a Stadia controller, which costs about 50 quid. But other than that, you don't need. Just play on your laptop or your PC. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, Gmail and credit card required, of course. Oh, should I? Oh, Victor, you just want me to do my? I've done my Japanese thing. I'm not doing it now. I'll do it just for you. Where's my arigato gozaimasu headscarf? I don't have my arigato gozaimasu headscarf, so thank you for that. Anyway, Victor, always appreciative. Anyway, I just want to answer some FAQs as well that came up. So, 2-month free trial to Stadia Pro, access to the current 9 pro games. If you claim all of those pro games, you've got 2 months, so that means that you'll get another set of pro games in May. So that's what you'll add to your collection. So there might not be everything that you want here, but there's a good variety. That's the key thing. If you're already a Stadia founder or Stadia Premier pro person, then you're getting free. We were also getting free a free 2 months. So in the next 48 hours, you should, if you are a pro member, check. Yeah, Jordan, you won't need that code. It just, they haven't quite rolled it out. That's all that means. Apparently, you don't need the code. You just sign up when it's ready to go, and it's out in the next 48 hours. So that should sort itself out in the next 48 hours. Check Twitter and Stadia on Twitter, because they're responding to a lot of FAQs on there. The Xbox One controller works very good. You need to wire it to your PCs. Best not. Some people have used it over with Wi-Fi, but wire it for the best response. That's even true of Project xCloud, oddly enough. Although they don't say that. I had some problems with Project xCloud, and then they told me try wiring your controller to the phone. Anyway, that's a different issue. Anyway, so yeah. So what I was saying is, if you're a founder, we're getting free 2 months free as well, which is kind of good. So if you check your account, it should say the next billing date is something like June. Once it's rolled out, it'll be June. The only people that, so if you've just got a 3-month trial, you don't get an extra 2 months. That was one of the questions that was asked on Twitter. Somebody asked Stadia on Twitter about that. So basically, if you're an existing paying pro member, so you're in your paying phase, you're getting a free 2 months as well, which is pretty awesome. Ah, my Hachimaki was upside down. I apologize. I can't always tell the way the writing is. There should be an obvious way of telling. I thought and also she's talking about my Japanese headscarf there. But anyway, so the point is, the great thing is, a lot of people moan there's not enough players in Destiny 2. Welcome. Maybe we'll see a massive revival of Stadia players going back to Destiny 2 for a bit of PvP. But anyway, so I think it's very exciting. Now, I've put in here, Google just released Stadia Base. So those of us that already have Google Stadia have been speculating with Stadia Base, which is the free version of Stadia, effectively, for those that don't know. Most of you in the chat know, but if you don't, I'm just, letting people know. I think this is effectively Stadia Base. So if you decide after your free trial, or even during your pro subscription, that you go, you know what, it's not for me, I don't want my 4K, and I don't want my pro games, and I don't want the pro deals. So just let's have a look at example of the pro deals here. So at the moment, last month they had some amazing pro deals. Ubisoft had an amazing sale, but this month it's not too bad. But you'll see here. Let's go back to store there. Pro deals, see all. So right now, as a pro member, you can also buy games. You've got Kine, which is a platforming game. $10 here, £10, not $10, £10. Red Dead Redemption 2. So the Ultimate Edition. So you've got all the. You might as well just for extra £4 get the Ultimate Edition here at $47.99. And Tomb Raider, I've already claimed it, so I don't know how much that is, but that's on offer as well. Normally they have more pro deals, to be honest. But anyway, there you go. There should be more. So there will be sales. There's often sales if you're a pro member. But if you decide that it's not for you, but you want to, but you're going to buy some games, but you don't want to be a pro member, then that's fine. You'll still have access to the games that you've bought. You won't have access to the pro games that you've claimed, although they will sit there on your account. Should you decide ever to come back as a pro, you get to play them again. But if you've bought games, they're yours to play, even free, even if you don't subscribe anymore, if you no longer want to be a pro. So that is effectively Stadia Base. And I think this is Google effectively. Thank you, Victor. I think this is effectively Google releasing Stadia Base. Stadia Base is basically, here, have a free trial of Stadia Pro, and if you don't want to continue it, then you just drop down into Stadia Base. As simple as that. I'm very excited about this, and I hope we get to see a lot more Stadians, as I like to call them, come on board and join us in the world of Stadia. And it's a great opportunity because ultimately, as I said before, it's not going to work for everybody, and that's all right. Doesn't mean Stadia's crap, but it works for the majority of people. And as I say, I have 50 megabits per second, a pretty good Wi-Fi, and in the house, and it works amazing. And even if my son is playing the Xbox One X and he's playing Fortnite, and my daughter's upstairs live streaming, or FaceTiming somebody, it still works fine. Now, in fairness, I have a Chromecast Ultra which is wired to the internet. My PC is also wired, so I'm not really using the Wi-Fi other than when I'm using the controller playing on the Chromecast Ultra. Well, thank you, Brett. Well, fine. Those 60%, the sort of people who are going to respond to a survey. That's the problem with surveys. You've got to question the sort of people who read the magazine IGN, and people who respond to surveys like that. I had a theory, because there are a lot of Stadia haters out there, and I was recently watching the sort of. So there were some Xbox Live announcements yesterday I was watching, and at the same time PlayStation released images of their new controller. And the old PlayStation versus Xbox beef kicked off in Twitter big time. And it made me realise something, actually. So PlayStation players have an aversion or seem to hate Xbox players, and Xbox players seem to hate PlayStation players. And the master race, hardcore PC gamers, so people who've got like $2,000, $3,000 gaming rigs, seem to hate both PlayStation and Xbox. And when it comes to Stadia, they all hate Stadia. So that's what we're dealing with. But, maybe Stadia's not for them. I mean, I happen to be a big Xbox fan, but I'm now a massive Stadia fan. So, and I must admit, I haven't really played much Xbox since I've had Stadia. My son does, because all his mates are on there playing Fortnite, and that's fine, and Stadia doesn't have Fortnite. But it's not necessarily for existing console owners. I think it's people who maybe are lapsed gamers, who kind of want to get back into AAA gaming and just gaming in general, not just AAA gaming. There's lots of cool indie gamers, and people who just, like it offers a new opportunity for new gamers to come on board, and that's the thing. Not everybody in the world has access to consoles. India, for example, one of the biggest markets in the world, they don't really have consoles in India. But PUBG, released on the mobile phone in India, did massive, absolutely massive. And so it's those non-console players that Google and Amazon and other people will be after. There's a massive appetite for gaming. You're right, Brett, and this is the beauty of this release. You can say all you like about it. I mean, I've been on Twitter earlier today, and on YouTube. I get YouTube comments, or I comment on YouTubers who, aren't particularly positive towards it, or are mostly incorrect. I tend to only comment when people are factually incorrect on Stadia, which often riles them and all their supporters. But there you go. Try it. I always say to people, you're not qualified to say anything, really, unless you've tried it. If you've tried it and go, no, it's not, I much prefer my Xbox One experience, fine. That's fine. I'd much prefer playing on PlayStation. I'd rather stick with my £5,000 gaming rig. Yeah, whatever. It's probably better. It's probably better for you, to be honest. But not everybody is in that situation. this is gaming for the masses, really, and we're also only at the beginning. What effectively we have with Stadia at the moment is a very Stadia in its very basic form. To be honest, all the big things, including games, are yet to come. But what we do have is plenty to give it a go, see if you like it. And as I say, I've spent more money on games since I've had Google than I've spent in the last 5, 6, 7 years, because I had Xbox Games Pass, and I just thought, apart from the odd second-hand game I might pick up at the gaming shop, I'm just play new games that come out on Xbox Gold or on Xbox Games Pass. I never feel like I'm justified to pay 60 quid for a game. But I bought Doom Eternal on Stadia Pro because I knew it would be awesome, and it was, and it is. And I've bought a few of the indie games, and they've been absolutely awesome. There's so many things to recommend. Anyway, let me know what you think. Tricky Lover there, I see. How the heck do you get to sign up for free? All I get is, it's rolling out over the next 48 hours. So depending what territory you're in, might not be quite ready. So just keep checking back. And you should be able to sign up. And you don't need to buy the Stadia controller. Although, that's the beauty thing. If you like it and you think it's really cool, I'd get yourself a Stadia controller and a Chromecast Ultra. If you've got a Chromecast Ultra already, and but try it first. That's the thing. That's the beauty of this free trial. Give it a go. Jordan, what made me switch from Stadia? Well, I tried. I've had an Xbox. In fact, I even bought an Xbox One X in January while I've had Stadia, because I'd always kind of planned to get one. I upgraded my Xbox One S, but because I was interested in the technology really and the concept of it really, and I wanted to be on the. I know cloud gaming is going to be massive. I also know that Stadia is going to be massive, despite what everybody thinks. Well, this is my sort of a bet with myself, as it were, and I wanted to be a founder. I bought into the promise of what I think Stadia will be, and so far it's living up to it. And that's why I can get quite passionate about it. That's why I will challenge ridiculous YouTubers who sort of send out misinformation or incorrectly make statements about Stadia that aren't correct. I mean, is Stadia perfect? No, of course it isn't. Anyway, the point is, I wanted to try it. I got it, and it worked better than. Did it work better than I thought? Yes, it worked as well as I hoped, but better than I thought. I tried Project xCloud, which worked really well for me, but it only works on a phone, and with my old eyes, I'm no good. And B, there was a bit, the lag and latency was noticeable, marginal but noticeable, but it was still playable. Stadia reckoned that they'd solve that problem, and that's what I was hoping they would have achieved, and they did. And it feels, and most people with Stadia who play it will probably support this view, it is like a console experience. And in fact, playing Destiny 2 on Stadia feels better. I'm putting it out there, this is again, it's subjective, but for me, playing Destiny 2 on Stadia feels better than it does on the Xbox One X. And just for, it is in 1080p upgraded to 4K, but they run it at 60 frames per second. And because they run it at 60 frames per second in Stadia, it feels very smooth. Well, I'll be honest, Jordan, ship there. I think Stadia may take off once YouTube integration comes online. That was the only disappointment, really, for me, was that wasn't there from the get-go, from November the 19th. They released it on November the 19th. I think my code came on oh my God, I've got my code on like the 20th or the 21st, 2 days later. But they, in a way, they did say they were, well, they didn't quite say they were rolling it out, but they implied they were rolling out the features that they said Stadia will have. And so obviously, yeah, what I really wanted to do is be able to stream using the Stadia stream, rather than streaming from my computer, as it were. The idea is that Stadia will send your game to your computer and the stream of your game straight to YouTube. So you're not using up any of your bandwidth, which to me is awesome. I can't live stream games because at 50 megabits per second, I get really good quality Stadia. But if I try to stream that, plus my computer's hopeless, it begins to get a bit potatoey, as they say. Yeah, I mean, don't worry. The integration will come. I mean, it's a massive part of the Stadia bundle. Don't underestimate it. I think it. As I said, if those who watch my Monday night podcast, 10 p.m. UK time on Stadia, all things Stadia, I talked about there that at the Google, the Stadia developer conference that they had, there was a session specifically aimed at developers where they were talking about what content creators like in a game. So basically, if you're developing a game, all right, Google, stop. Google Home Assistant always butts in. So yeah, it's integration. Okay, Google, stop. Yes, YouTube integration is absolutely crucial to Stadia. Ashes, hello. And in exactly the same way that the cloud gaming Project Tempo will be, for Amazon, and it's, they're talking about games that are stream friendly, as it were. So the sort of games that people want to play and the sort of games people want to watch people play. And it will be the same for Stadia because that is a big market. And with YouTube, most games, most playthroughs are watched on YouTube. Most live gameplays are watched on Twitch. So they both offer their own sort of specialism, as it were. Although obviously YouTube are hoping to get more live because people spend more time doing a live YouTube broadcast than doing a sort of a set 15-minute video. Yeah, Emma says my Google at home reacted by you. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Well, we don't know yet about. So William Gross says my issue with streaming to YouTube features is no way to associate a webcam feed with your game feed. Well, we don't know yet. So when I stream on Mixer. Brett. Arigato gozaimasu. Thank you for that, Brett. A happy dancing cat. Oh, look, another little Japanese cat. Is that the... Yes. Oh, yes. Travis makes a good point there. I forgot to mention. So one thing in the blog that they talk about here. So as Stadia Pro, you can play games and up to 4K during your Chromecast Ultra, but also if you have a 4K monitor on your computer and you're playing through the browser, you can play up to 4K, but and that's normally the default setting. But as part of the free trial, the default setting is at 1080p, and that is because obviously during COVID, whilst it's wonderful that Google are sort of giving a free gaming opportunity to everybody who's sort of locked down. That's absolutely amazing. But equally, they've got to balance that off with kind of, we also know the internet is potentially under stress, what with everybody working from home. So the default setting is 1080p. And in fairness, that makes a lot of sense because, if they're giving it free, most people therefore are going to be playing through their Chromecast, through their browser. And to be honest, how many people have got a 4K gaming monitor? Really? that are going to try it. If you've got a 4K gaming monitor, you're more likely going to have a pretty powerful gaming computer anyway, and maybe you're not interested in Stadia. I mean, not everybody, but it's quite a niche market that are big into Stadia. I mean, there's, I guess, the techie guys like me. I mean, I don't have a 4K gaming monitor. I have a 4K TV and play on the Chromecast Ultra on there. But 1080p looks amazing, especially if you're sitting like literally. Cable Boom, TMB Gaming, and more. Stadia Twitter, because loads of people are having similar questions. Well, I can't get it. Well, I can't get it yet. Why am I not able to get it? You lie. Google lie. They didn't lie. They're rolling it out over the next 48 hours. I've seen some part of the Stadia community who've said that, who are already pros, who've already checked their account, and that 2-month free period has already been registered on there. So when their next billing date is. So in America and Canada, I think it's happening now. In the UK, I think it will probably be, as I say, the next 24 hours probably. Okay, well, they just, as I say, the next 48 hours, just keep trying. I mean, if they just like open the floodgates, literally, you know, plus they're all working from home, so the customer service aspect as well is a bit limited, as with any company right now. So that's why they're rolling it out over the 48 hours. You've got to announce it. I know some people were moaning, well, they announced it and it's not ready. Well, it is ready. It's being rolled out over the next 48 hours. I only repeat that because some people miss that bit, and that's like in the first paragraph of the statement, over the next 48 hours. Okay, let's just stick with the chat. 4K only makes sense. So this is Mail Sue 30. 4K only makes sense if your TV is 60 inches and larger. I think so, yeah. I mean, some people might say, I think it's more the refresh rate for gamers. That's the key thing. If you can have, like, you know, if you've got if you're really into gaming, or you take it really seriously, especially first person shooters, and you want 120 hertz or 240 hertz gaming monitor, so you get that really really smooth, panning or 360s when you're doing first person shooters, then yeah. But generally, yeah, I mean, I'd just be upgrading to a 4K monitor, which I'm sitting 18 inches away, just for the heck of it, just for the sake of tech. Anyway, so I have been playing of these. I just want to talk about some of the. Let's go back to the pro, the free games, and I'll just give you an idea. I have been playing recently. Yeah, Serious Sam went there. Let's. So Destiny 2 is I think is a great game to get into. Everybody sort of seems to have it, and it'd be great to see loads of people on there. That's a really cool thing. But I've been playing a hell of a lot of Serious Sam. If you like that kind of Doom non-stop arcade first-person shooter, it's ridiculous. It's silly. It's crazy. It's quite tough in places. But it's a lot of fun. As I say, it's a slightly less sophisticated Doom, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. And if you want to play with a friend, get your friend to sign up as well, and play Spitlings and see whether your friendship lasts. Brett says, I once tried Stadia Destiny 2 on an old work computer on a non-4K monitor. It was a little laggy, but I think it improved when I switched the display setting from best to balanced. Yeah, as I say, it's not always, I've seen news reports where people go, I've got 100 gigabit, internet, and it's so laggy, it's hopeless in my house. It's not just about your broadband speed. It's also about how, if you're using the Wi-Fi, it's how your Wi-Fi is in your house. As I say, I've hardwired to the Ethernet virtually everything I've got. I even got rid of my power line. So I had these power line adapters so I could get the internet to my computer. But even these, I live in a late 70s house. and so the electric wiring can be a bit dodgy now and then. And if you've got a fridges can be temperamental, and they can affect the electricity in the house, and it can impact on the broadband if you're using power lines. Power lines are better than Wi-Fi, but the best thing is to plug it straight into the internet, and you'll get the best experience. So my Chromecast Ultra is plugged into the Ethernet. My laptop's plugged into the Ethernet. If you could do it, I would do it. It's not the B end or not ultimate. It's not the most important thing to do, but definitely that's what I would do. The thing is with Stadia, give it the best possible chance. Give it the best possible conditions you can to make it work. One, so you're not disappointed, and B, you owe it to yourself if you're going to really give Stadia a test. The classic meme, it's become a meme now, this classic quote when Stadia was first launched and people were reviewing it and all the haters were on about it, and they quoted back the Washington Post, so one of the largest sort of newspapers, mainstream broadsheets in the US, and the guy played it there, and then you see him going, look at the lag, it's so bad, and I just thought to myself, if I tried playing Stadia in my office, on my office network, even though my office is telling me it's getting 80, 90, 100 megabits per second, of course it's going to be a load of rubbish, because I'm relying on the Wi-Fi in the office, as is 100 other people. Sorry, we dropped out again there. Sorry for dropping out. So, just an example, my daughter is live streaming via. What are you using? What are you using? FaceTime or? FaceTime. Yeah, via FaceTime on her phone to all her mates, playing Stadia. Singular mate. Well, playing Stadia. In fact, with her mate. With her mate. So the mate's playing Stadia in their house. She's playing Stadia here, and they're streaming to each other while I'm doing this. Crazy. But anyway, that's the beauty of Stadia. Just Dance. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? Since the COVID-19 made me buy Just Dance, because we needed some exercise in the house. Anyway. Back to the games, Destiny 2 the collection is a great game to play on Stadia, as I said earlier, and if you're new to Stadia, get in there, get yourself playing that. But there's such variety, as you can see there, and you'll see. I can guarantee you'll start sort of spending, especially when the sales come through. Sometimes the sales are really tempting. If I look at my collection, I've got all the Tomb Raiders. Let's see what games I own, but I own quite a few now. And the other thing also, yeah, interesting. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, Jerry Lennon, but yeah, maybe. I just also think that as a tech reviewer, the guy's a bit embarrassing to himself, really. Trevisus, yes, that's what's happened to me. I've bought more games than I intended. It's good to, how good the sales were. So if you're new here and new to Stadia, and you may have seen stuff on the YouTube, whatever, and about lag and latency, we've done that. There isn't any. Get out of here. Second is, you have to pay full price for the games. No. If you're a pro member, then they do these amazing sales, and sometimes there's up to 60% off, 70% off sometimes. I mean, not all the time, but there've been, the Ubisoft sale, which has just gone now, had some amazing offers on it, and that made me buy some games. They were just like priced at a level that was too good not to, really. And the second thing about games is, and I sort of knew this anyway, but I've never really tried it. I refunded my first game because it just wasn't for me. So the Crew 2, I bought the Crew 2 because that was in the Ubisoft sale. It was really good price. I think it was about 15 quid for not the base one, but the next one up. 14.49 or something like that. So I bought the Crew 2 in the Ubisoft sale. And I tried it before, the Crew 2 on Xbox. Rigo! Kenzo arigato gozaimasu. I bought the Crew 2 on the Xbox before, and I tried it, and it wasn't really for me. I just don't think I'm very good at that particular driving game. But I thought I'd give it another go on Stadia at 15 quid. And then I remembered, you know what, if you don't like it, if you've played less than 2 hours of the game, you can refund it. And refunding is easy. You just go to your Google account, as you know, where you bought stuff, look at all the stuff you bought, not the Stadia account, just your Google account, and you just say refund. And if you've played less than 2 hours of the game, you get refunded, which made me realise you can. You can try games, and you don't have to like all the games. I mean, I've got all the pro games I automatically claim, even if they're not my sort of thing. I'm curious, I'll give them a go. I would have thought that SteamWorld Quest here, Hand of Gilgamesh, wasn't really necessarily my thing. Gave it a go. I love it. It's great. Most of the games I really enjoy. But anyway, so yeah, that's another beauty of Stadia, is that, as I say, refunding games is so straightforward that it does, in a way, if you think about it, give you an opportunity to try stuff. So even if it's not in the pro, it's not a free game with pro, give it a go, and you can tell whether you're going to like a game within the first maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, definitely. And if it's not for you, if you find that the learning curve's too steep, as I did on Crew 2, there's other racing games I prefer, then that's fine. I know some people who swear by Crew 2. They love it, absolutely think it's the hottest thing ever, which is fine. And that's the beauty of games. It's not for everybody. What is the problem amount of sign-ins for free? Oh, probably, okay, Rigor, thank you. Since you paid, I will answer. I'm not sure. Somebody was saying, do you think, I think GeForce Now had like 2 million, something like that. I think Stadia is different. I don't think necessarily, because a lot of the gaming community were up for GeForce Now, and the gaming community, as we know, is slightly negative towards Stadia, and they're the first people who will opt in. So unless Stadia sort of get beyond that gaming community, the sort of the hardcore gaming community, they get their message out to basically say, we're basically giving everybody a free console. Because that's what they're doing. In simple terms, if people ask me what is Stadia, so my son was playing Xbox today, and I was telling him I wanted to do this live broadcast, but he started a Fortnite game, so I couldn't. And then the Glory of Stadia, which you should check out their podcast, got there first. So I thought, well, I'll do it later this evening, and hence here we are. But his friend said, oh, well, what is Stadia anyway? And so I basically said to him, Stadia is effectively a virtual console. That's what it is. And you buy games for your Xbox, or you buy games for your PlayStation, you buy games for your Stadia, and you get to play them. Of course, the beauty is there's no waiting. There's no hanging around or anything like that. You just click, buy, play within 10 seconds. How was that?
Tyron, we talking about Stadia and quick stuff. Yeah, took Xbox bloody ages to download Just Dance for him.
Yeah, there we go. So my daughter was saying that her friend downloaded Just Dance on Xbox so they could play together, and it took him ages. On PlayStation Plus, Hue 2 Fry game. Alien in Games. Not sure there. Yeah, exactly, Brett. It's that The thing about people going, I want to play my games, it just, to me, doesn't make any, the games I own. I want to play the games I own on the system I want. Nobody ever said that about Xbox. Like, oh, I've got all these games on PC. Why can't I play it on Xbox? This seems a weird argument to me. Or if you say you got PlayStation and then you move to Xbox, you have to buy all your games again. And you see, for me, that's weird. Because of course you do have to buy games for your console. Because to me, Stadia is a virtual console. Once you get that in your head, it's just a new console. Yeah, except it's a console in the cloud that you just access via the Chrome browser, which I still can't get over. And so again, I say to people, it's like, you want to watch Netflix, you sign into netflix.com, you watch a film. You want to watch something on YouTube, sign into YouTube, you watch a YouTube video. You want to play a AAA game, you sign into stadia.com, and you get to play, a AAA game. Simple as that. That's how easy it is. But anyway, Stadia is a virtual console, and as with any console, you have to buy the games, and the games are sort of ported, so they're not PC versions of the game. They are games adapted for Stadia, because they work on a slightly different platform. In the same way, it's slightly different for Xbox, slightly different for PlayStation, and slightly different for PC. So it's not a virtual PC, it is a virtual console, and that's how it is. Yeah, absolutely. Mailsu32 streaming is here, and it is here to stay. And as I've said before on this channel, there's I don't know if you've seen in trying to think which film it is. It's The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. In The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Clint Eastwood has to go and he has to get the name of an old soldier off this old soldier guy who lives in a shack. And we're next to the railroad, and the shack is constantly shaking, but he refuses to move, even though the noise of the train that shakes the shack and shakes his brain is doing his head in. He refuses to move. And to me, a lot of Stadia haters, or people who go, I want to own my games, or Stadia, I own my games, I don't want Stadia, with Stadia you don't own your games and all that. To me, they're like that old man in that railroad shack who refuses to accept the railroad is coming through. The railroad is, the railways is happening in the Wild Wild West. And he refuses to move, and he's going to stick in his shack, going mad by the loud trains that go past. And that, to me, is people who don't or can't get the concept of cloud gaming. In the same way, they're the sort of people who probably 10 years ago invested in, given the choice between Netflix and Blockbuster, invested in Blockbuster. Because how on earth does anybody have the bandwidth to stream films and movies? What a ridiculous concept. And that's what Netflix was offering. They saw the future and they put all their bet on that. Blockbuster didn't, and an £8 billion company or whatever, one thing, £8 million or £1 billion, I forget, Blockbuster went bust, and Netflix is the norm. And all the other content owners are now desperately launching their own streaming services, the Disneys, the Universals, the Warner Brothers, because they realize that's how people consume the content. The DVD market is dead. I mean, I work in TV. The DVD market is dead and dying for obvious reasons. Exactly, Ashes. Of course they scoffed at it. Absolutely. But Stadia haters are going to be Stadia haters. The point is, as I said before, you've got your PlayStation fanboys who hate everything about Xbox. And then you have Xbox fanboys who hate everything about PlayStation. And it doesn't matter what you say. It's about a tribal loyalty to those platforms. And therefore, you cannot have a debate because they're emotionally attached to those platforms and that concept. And so what you're doing is you're challenging somebody's, this is getting philosophical, but you're challenging somebody's emotionals, not their rational belief. You're challenging their emotional belief. And the more you challenge somebody's belief, the more entrenched they will become. That's why arguing is pointless. What it tends to do is make the person you're arguing with become more entrenched in their ideas. This has been well known by philosophers since the 17th century, and it is true today, as you will often see in the discourse in American politics or something like that. Rationale and reason goes out the window, becomes an emotional issue, and you can't convince somebody of an emotional issue. But those people that are open-minded, are willing to be challenged, or willing to give something a go, great. I've tried the Shadow PC, which is a virtual PC, and when it worked amazing. And I did some editing on it, and it was like having a powerful PC in my home, but accessed through my rubbishy laptop at the time, and it worked amazing. Although sometimes it was unreliable, and it didn't quite do all the things I wanted. But I tried it, I gave it a go, and it showed me a glimpse of sort of cloud gaming and cloud computing and what that might mean for the future. Project X Cloud rolled out, very excited, jumped on the beta of that, got an opportunity to try that. I did a review. If you've not seen my video, it's one of my biggest videos on my channel, Project X Cloud review. And as I say, it worked really, really well. But it did feel like it was a sort of a slightly inferior experience than playing on the Xbox itself. Stadia, as I said, feels like a genuine console experience for me, and that's the key thing. Let's have a look. Sorry, it can play with no problems on Stadia. Resurrected, but you're a full-on techie guy, to be honest, and you're like into game development and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't expect you to have anything less than a top-of-the-range Mac. And I bet it looks amazing on the Mac, on those screens, and a Chrome browser. But as I say, you are that niche. You are that niche, open-minded techie guy who's willing to give everything a go. Who's probably got all the consoles. And it's good. There'll be more people like you. What else? What else we got here? Yeah, Netflix, exactly. William Gross, I have them all. They're all good for different reasons. Exactly. I still play on the Xbox now and then. Partly my son. I'm a big fan. I'm a big Sea of Thieves fans, and that's an Xbox exclusive. And that's the great thing. I remember buying the Nintendo GameCube just to play the Zelda game at the time. And I even bought this Platinum version, which came with Zelda. Like 120 quid just to play at the time, I think it was, just to play a game. I mean, I ended up playing other games on it, and but occasionally that's the big thing. So that's one of the things, if you're new to Stadia, one of the things to look forward to are the proper Stadia exclusives. So Stadia's got timed exclusives, so games that will eventually be released on the other platforms after 12 months. But over the next couple of years, we'll see games that have been developed exclusively for and specifically using the Stadia tech. So full-on exclusive Stadia games that can only do things because of Stadia. And that's the other thing you'll find. So there are a few features that Stadia has in some games that no other console can do. So one of them is the Stream Connect, where you can, if you're playing something like Ghost Recon or The Division 2, you can get a little picture of whoever you're playing with. So you're playing online with somebody. You can see what they're seeing in the corner of the screen. And it's not using any of your resources, it's using YouTube's resources and Stadia's resources, because they're just sending your friend's picture straight to your screen. So it's like they've got a little head cam on, or the character's got a head cam and you're seeing what they're seeing, which is great for those tactical shooters when you're playing multiplayer. Anyway, if there are any questions specifically about Stadia, about the rollout, as I say, I'm just going to summarize now before I go. It's being rolled out over the next 48 hours. if you to the countries that already have Stadia available in those countries, it's starting in the US and Canada. So if you can't access Stadia at the moment, or it's saying you need a buddy code, it means it hasn't quite rolled out to where you are yet. But over the next 48 hours, keep checking. You don't need a buddy code. Just sign in with your Gmail. Probably will have to give them your credit card details, but they won't take any money. And you get a 2-month free trial. Immediately you'll have access to all these 9 pro games, and you can start playing straight away. Just click claim and play. Second thing is, if you're an existing Stadia Pro paying member, so you're not in the middle of a free trial that may have been rolled out with your YouTube premium subscription or something like that as a sort of gift. If you're a founder or a Stadia Premier owner, whatever, and you're in the paid pro membership phase, then you're getting 2 months free. So your next billing date will be in June. If you're a lapsed Stadia Pro member, so you had Stadia Pro, and then you thought, no, not for me, I don't want to justify paying 10 quid a month, whatever, for it, you can sign up again, and you'll get all the pro games that you originally claimed. So there are some games that are no longer pro games here that you'll get, and you'll get that 2-month free trial. Well, Rigor, I think they are coming quicker anyway, to be honest, because we're in that season. So at the beginning of January and February, people were moaning, where are the games? Where are the games? Nobody releases games in January and February, really. It's the dead month. I know a game journalist who works at the BBC who mentioned that January and February are traditionally dead months for game releases, because people are basically working up. They come back from Christmas and then they're working on all the marketing and release schedule, usually starting March, April, May. So we're seeing now, Cyberpunk was originally meant for March. Marvel Avengers was originally meant for April time. Doom Eternal was released. Division 2 big update was released. So we're getting the games now, and we'll start seeing them come out, and then there'll be a lapse in the summer, and then September, October, and then up to Christmas you'll see a load more then. Hi there, Michael. Wave to you there. Wave over there. So I think as I say, and the other thing about the games releases are, as we see the big releases for the other consoles, they'll start releasing day on date with Stadia as well. So there's lots to look forward to, and we also know if you go to the sort of stadia.com page and you haven't signed up and you click on the games section, there's loads of games there that aren't released yet, like Gods and Monsters, Watchdog Legion, and some others I can't remember off the top of my head. So we know there's lots of games coming, and Stadia have a habit of dropping or announcing, well, developers do anyway, it's not always down to Stadia, new games all the time that sometimes come out of the blue. So keep a lookout for those as well. So those are the main FAQs. As I say, main thing is, if you can't access it right now, don't worry. Over the next 48 hours, it'll be there. Welcome to the Stadia gang. Give it a go. If it works for you, that's amazing. You'll love it. And we'll see you in Destiny or whatever it is. And I hope you have as much fun as I've had since November playing on Stadia. It's a great community. There's loads of YouTubers who do great content. You can check them all out. We all sort of tend to comment on each other's YouTubes and Twitter and stuff like that. But I check them all out. They've all different characters, different voices, but we're all of the same mind. We all love Stadia, and there's a good reason for that, because it works well. And now we're really pleased that this is an opportunity for other people to realise, I thought Stadia was rubbish. This is really good. And if you're one of those people, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to wrap up there. Exactly, Michael John. For those that have been there from the beginning, it's a little reward as well in this COVID times as well. you know, money is tight for some people. So it's not only an opportunity to try Stadia, it's a little bit of a saving for people who may have sort of thought, well, you know, it's a luxury at the moment, that extra 10 quid a month, it all counts. I can't afford to, you know, to keep it up, where you've got extra 2 months. Grazia, Google Stadia. So thank you, Mr. Harrison, Phil Harrison. Thank you very much. Thank you, Google Stadia. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, if you want more, every Monday night, 10 p.m. UK time, here on this channel, 5 p.m. EST, I do my Stadia Monday night chat where I go through the news of the week. Obviously, this is going to be part of that. We're going to touch on that and we'll see what the response has been over the next few days. Anyway, thank you. Stay healthy, and unless you have a real reason to get out, as Samuel L. Jackson says, stay the F at home, please. I will see you round. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Goodbye.